Hi, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining the webinar. So this is basically Sangfor's Virtual Desktop Infrastructure webinar, where I'll be covering how Sangfor VDI can fit rightly in the market and why customers would want to go for Sangfor VDI. So Sangfor's VDI is known as ADESK, right? So we can start with our webinar. So before we start, I would like to quickly introduce myself as well. My name is Gazali Aga. I'm the pre-sales manager within Sangfor. I mainly handle our cloud products, which is our HCI, VDI, and storage. So, and this webinar is mainly going to be on our VDI, which is also known as ADESK. So when I say ADESK in the webinar, you should understand that I'm talking about our VDI product. So a little background about myself as well. I have been in the end user computing space for more than 10 years. I have worked on other VDI solutions, and I have been working with enterprise to large enterprise government customers as well. I have also been working on HCI technologies for a very long time. So I've been in this space since a very long time, and I believe that for customers and for partners who want to do the comparison between Sangfor ADESK and other platforms, I can be the right person where I can do the comparison and suggest what suits best for them. And till now, what I have seen when it comes to Sangfor ADESK is we have certain additional features and simplicity within our platform that no other platform has been able to manage yet. So in most of the use cases for VDI, Sangfor ADESK has been the right fit as well, right? So what is it that you will cover or you will take away from this webinar is first of all, you will get a broader understanding of what Sangfor ADES can do and what it is, the architecture simplicity compared with other platforms out there. So when you understand, when you compare it with other platforms, you can know, okay, how simple is Sangfor's ADES, right? And then how Sangfor ADES can deliver a seamless user experience. So when you come across any customer or when you come across any queries, like how does Sangfor deliver the experience to the users, you will have a better understanding to answer that and to explain that. Then benefits of adopting Sangfor ADES. After that, I'll be covering what are the licenses we have within Sangfor ADES, and then some of the major use cases that we can cover. And I will also have some time for the Q&A, where you can drop your questions in the Q&A tab. If you click on that, you will see a Q&A session or Q&A window where you can post your question, and I will try my best to answer all of the questions that you might have, right? All right, so to start with, let's quickly go through the introduction of what is Sangfor. So when we speak of users, right, or when we speak of users working, since the COVID time, a lot of things have changed where nearly 50% of the organization staff are working remotely or opting to work remotely. And they have been working from anywhere, maybe it is from their home, from a cafe, from some other location, maybe working from different devices. So it is not only a laptop, it could be their smartphone, it could be their laptop, it could be their tablet, it could be a Windows device or a Mac device or any other device, right? Now there are multiple devices also have been involved, because when you're on the move working out of office, you want to access your applications from anywhere and from any device. Now, other than that as well, what we have seen is if you have a project going on and you might have certain contractors who you want to give a temporary access, right? So it doesn't get that flexible. Though, you have these contractors working from other locations, maybe from a different country. So how about the security, right? First thing, you have your users working outside office. Second thing, you have users using different devices, different types of devices. Third thing is you might have not only your organization's users, you might have third-party users as well, where you need to have full control over what and what data and applications they can access and for how long can they access. So we have seen a lot of shift and a lot of changes, especially after COVID times. And when you have users working outside of your organization, you need to ensure that security is in place as well. So when I say security, the IT should have full control over what the users can do and cannot do, what data they can access, what data they cannot access, what time they can access, and what type of device they can access, right? So these are some things, which is of course a concern for the IT department as well. Now, other than that, it's not only so VDI is not only a remote access solution nowadays, it's more of a security solution as well, especially for those users who are accessing from outside of the organization, right? Now, so if we look at the challenges, if we compare it with the current situation or let's say a customer is not using or an organization is not using a VDI and they're still on, let's say, physical workstations or laptops, right? So managing physical desktops has always been a challenge. IT team spends countless hours installing, repairing, and replacing machines. This approach is slow, expensive, and not so efficient. When a new hire joins, for example, or a computer needs re-imaging, employees can end up waiting hours before they can even start working. Meanwhile, IT staff remains busy troubleshooting and updating individual devices. Data and applications create another layer of complexity. Important files often sit on scattered desktops or laptops outside IT's control. Security patches and software upgrades have to be applied one device at a time in most cases, making the process time consuming and risky. What's the result here? Higher cost, wasted resources, and unnecessary delays. Organizations today need a smarter, more centralized way of managing the desktops, one that improves productivity, reduces expenses, and strengthens security as well. This is exactly what Sangfor ADES can deliver for you. Now, so what does Sangfor ADES can do here? It helps consolidate the entire or the major components into a single location, right? Your data is not dispersed. Your applications are not managed separately. Your desktops, you don't have to support them separately. Your desktops, your data, and your applications are now in a single location, centralized, where IT can manage them centrally, can update, can control what data can be accessed. Desktops can be updated if it is Windows or any other OS. Especially when it comes to Windows, the updates and patches can be pushed within few clicks, and within few minutes, the updates and even the application updates can be delivered, right? So everything is now centralized in IT's control. When you have everything centralized in control, what is it that you are getting as an IT or as additional feature for IT to manage and to deliver? When it comes to applications, you can whitelist and blacklist what applications can be accessed and cannot be accessed by the users. You can do a quick application distribution to users. Let's say you have multiple groupings. You have your HR, you have your admin, you have your IT, you have your management. Let's say one of the management users comes to you and says, I need to access this application. I want the access. You don't have to go through the installation process and all of that again. You can just distribute that particular application to that particular group or to that particular user. Within a few clicks, he will have that application ready when he logs into his VDI environment, and he can start using it, right? You can do the application distribution per user wise and per group wise as well. Now, when we talk of the internet bandwidth consumption, why I'm speaking about that is there are a lot of users who download certain applications or certain content from the internet. So all of this content and this applications can be stored on a local application store. This will be over LAN. So every time a user gets a session, he will see an application store icon. Once he clicks on that, he will see only the allowed. First thing, you can blacklist the applications if required, and you can only allow certain applications, and those applications can be downloaded from the application store. This application store, a user can see, let's say, for example, VLC player or maybe some other lightweight client or applications can be seen in that application store. He will click on that and he will download it in his desktop session, and he can start using it. Now, rather than downloading it all the way from the internet, you will be downloading that from LAN only. So you're going to save a lot of bandwidth when it comes to downloading your applications. Now, when you have a lot of users downloading over the WAN, it will choke the bandwidth, right? So this will help in maintaining the bandwidth consumption and can be downloaded over LAN only. These are some of the things, the additional things that you can do with Sangfor ADISC. Now, what are the types of access that you can get with Sangfor ADISC? First, you can deliver complete virtual desktop or a desktop experience to the user. Whether you're using maybe as a user, you're using a smartphone, you're using a tablet, you're using a laptop, it doesn't matter. When you do the authentication, you will be getting the complete desktop session and you will get a desktop experience when you log in. Second thing is that when you log in, you will only get to see the allowed application icons. When you click on that, only the application window will open. And in reality, that is actually running in the backend servers, right, which are sitting in your data centers. So you will only see the allowed applications, maybe like MS Word, MS Excel, Outlook, Adobe, or 3D applications. When these applications are run, you can only see the application window, and that application window is running in the servers, right? But when it comes to control, you will get the similar controls that IT can put. All the security features and controls can be same as what you're going to put for a virtual desktop experience. Now, the third way access is, if you have, let's say, remote sites, or if you have physical workstation or 3D workstations where you have already invested, you can also give remote access to these physical workstations. Let's say, it's a construction site and there's a physical workstation where you cannot physically visit every time. So the user can just log in through his personal laptop or from office. He will log in and he can access that physical workstation, and he will get that physical workstation session as if it is running locally. And you can still put the same IT and security controls, right? And let's say also one more use case is that if it is a physical workstation with 3D applications, you can access that remotely and you can work on your 3D applications as well, right? All right. So how can you create multiple machines? Let's say if you have 100 or 500 users that you want to create machines for. So, or let's say if one of them or new users join, how does Sangfor ADISC simplify delivering the machines to the users? So let's say initially you have, let's say 100 or 500, even 1,000 users. You will do the grouping based on images, and out of that image, within a few clicks, you can create hundreds and thousands of machines within 5 minutes. In some cases, even less than 5 minutes as well. And these 500 machines, or let's say 100 machines, can be quickly delivered to these users. right? And let's say if tomorrow, if any new users are coming in, all that you have to do is go to the Sangfor's management server and right click on that group and say add more machines, and you can just quickly add machines from 1 to 10 or hundreds if you want, right? As soon as new users join in, you can just go there and do this, and the user don't have to wait for the machine to get ready. You can just create that machine for him, and he will get that applications and all the security policies will be in place. Now, there is a major thing, when it comes to VDI is the profiles. We have to ensure that the profiles are maintained properly. The profiles don't get corrupted, right? So how does Sangfor manage the profiles? We have our own native user profile management, also known as UPM, where you can either store that in a file server, or you can also store that as a floating disk. A virtual disk will be created, which will keep moving to the session where the custom or where the user is logging in, right? So this will make the login and logout times much faster. So you will manage the profiles also centrally through Sangfor's management dashboard, right? And all of this profiles are actually very important and can be backed up by Sandforce platform as well. How the backup happens, I will talk about that in the coming slides and how you can do the restore of that. But having the profile and maintaining that is very, very important, whether we talk about any platform, whether it is Sangfor or any other VDI platforms out there. Managing the profiles is very, very critical, and maintaining it is very, very important, because if anything happens to the profiles, the user experience can be compromised, right? So we manage that in a very, very, simple and very easy way for the IT admins as well. Now, let's talk about what are the security features that we have within Sangfor ADESK. Few of the security features that you can that I would like to add over here. At the user level, you can do a screen watermarking every time a session has been taken by a user. He will have a session watermark where even if somebody takes a photo of the screen, you may not have control over a user's phone, right? So if somebody takes a photo of the session, there will be watermarking saying, for example, that this data is confidential or this belongs to so and so organization. So if that photo is distributed, it will be understood that this belongs to certain organization, right? You can also have anti-screenshot. So the session that you have, if somebody takes a screenshot, that session will be shown as blank. You can restrict file export. Even if you restrict file export, you have the control to enable it for certain users or for certain groups for a certain given time, maybe 1 hour or for one day. And after that, automatically that access will be removed. And for example, if there is anyone who has been given the access to export the file, it will be audited, saying that this user has copied this so-and-so file outside of the session. You can also, of course, control the clipboard. You can restrict the clipboard as well. And you can do the USB blacklisting, whitelisting, application whitelisting, blacklisting as well. Now, when we look at the taking the copying the data outside, you can block in both the ways, whether from outside to the session or from the session to the outside. You can restrict both, or you can restrict one way only as per the requirement. Now, on the client side, which means the device side, you can, of course, set certain policies saying that the device should follow or should maintain the criteria. You can set the policy saying that it should be only Windows device. It should come from certain IP range. It should have certain antivirus. It should have certain process running. If this criteria is met, only then the access will be provided, right? And then VDC is basically our management server. which maintains the entire traffic or the user session flow. Of course, the entire session will be encrypted as well, end to end. And with the help of VDC and our HCI platform, as the VDI sits on top of HCI, you can get our distributed firewall as well, which is basically microsegmentation, where you can put security saying that you can restrict the traffic saying that certain desktops or VMs cannot speak to other VMs. You can block the east, or you can control the east-west traffic as well. Now, as the VDI platform sits on our HCI, you are going to get certain HCI capabilities and features as well, which I will talk in details in the coming slides. But just to highlight few, your data is always going to have 2 copies, and you are going to get a highly redundant and resilient environment. You are also going to get for the management of the hypervisor, because the VDI environment is going to sit on top of the hypervisor. So the hypervisor is also secured by our built-in web application firewall as well. So all the features that you would have on an HCI and hypervisor, you can integrate that with our VDI environment as well, right? Now, let's take a look at how the architecture looks like. So if we understand what are the basic or the required components normally for any other platform out there, there are minimum 7 to 8 components. Let me just bring my cursor. Hold on. Let's bring my pointer. So if you look at that, there are minimum 7 to 8 components. A gateway component, which is of course a very major and required component if you have users accessing from outside. A web interface where the user will see the initial page for authentication or for login. The control server, which is basically maintains the traffic, which user has access to what, which traffic should go where, which user should go where, all the policies and everything, or all the security policies is managed through the control server. The management platform, the license server, the monitoring server, SQL, database server. So this makes it minimum 7 to 8 components that you have to manage, and you have to maintain, and you have to update time to time. And when you do this update, you have to ensure that the downtime is taken as well, right? So as an IT, managing so many components separately is not such an easy task, right? So these are the minimum components that is required when we look at other platforms out there for VDI. Now, what does Sangfor do here? Sangfor helps IT by having only one appliance which has all the built-in components. Whether we look at the gateway component normally is, a very expensive component, right? We have it built into our controller. What is our controller called? It is called as Virtual Desktop Controller. It has its management within it. It has its web interface. It has the gateway. It has the database in it. It has the monitoring and troubleshooting component. All the components are within the VDC itself. Of course, it can be maintained in high availability as well with 2 appliances, but only one appliance we have, which you will have to maintain. You don't have to maintain 7 to 8 components, right? And the authentication, the multi-factor authentication, all the policies, all the security policies, the desktop, the users, the groupings, all is managed through VDC only. And other than integrating with your LDAP, you can also create local users as well if required. So let's say if you have a contractor, you have a temporary user, you do not want to create an AD user for him, you can create a local user, and you can of course apply all the security policies to that user, like multi-factor authentication. If you want, you can also enforce that every user who wants to access should have the Google Authenticator for multi-factor authentication, or let's say Microsoft Authenticator, that should be integrated for every user. So when he goes to the URL and he tries to log in with a new user, it will enforce him to do the activation of the Google Authenticator as well, right? And a temporary access can be given to that contractor, right? It doesn't have to be an AD user, it can be a local user as well. So we do integrate with such kind of authenticators as well, right? And then of course, if you have any two-factor authentication platform like RSA, for example, you can of course integrate with any third-party multi-factor authentication platforms as well, right? We support Radius servers also, integration with Radius platforms as well. And now, how do we ensure that no seamless user experience is delivered? We have this policy. So let's say that no anyone who has used a VDI environment, or let's say that has tested or knows that the real test of success is the end user experience. Traditional VDI solutions often struggle here. Users complain about delays, bad graphics, and slow response times, especially when working with videos, 3D applications, or remote desktops. Sangfor VDI eliminates these pain points with its proprietary protocol known as HEDC, built from the ground up to deliver a fast, smooth, and responsive experience, whether you're in the office or connecting remotely. So what makes HEDC stand out? It combines multiple smart optimizations to balance performance and efficiency. For users who demand the highest visual performance, Sangfor VDI supports refresh rates of up to 144 frames per second as well, ideal for industries like design, media, production, and financial trading as well, where every frame matters. And it's not just theory. Backed by over 50 patents, these innovations come together to provide an outstanding user experience that's both reliable and future ready as well. And especially when it comes to 3D applications, we support all of the 3D applications out there or heavy applications, whether you talk of AutoCAD, whether you talk of Revit, Autodesk, uh, Maya, 3ds Max. All these applications are supported on Sangfor ADESC. We support NVIDIA graphics card and AMD graphics card as well, both. And when we look at the CPU, we support both Intel and AMD as well, right? So if you have applications, 3D applications, which you want to run, we support all the major 3D applications out there as well for 3D Studio, for construction, for designing, for all of these use cases we support. And we do have customers in these verticals who are using already Sangfor ADESC. Let me give you an example of how the experience would look like. I have a short video which I would like to play where you will experience how the experience would look like for a user using. One second. So this is a short video. It's not that long. So a user is having a complete virtual desktop experience. He's having a 3D application running on one screen, and he has a 4K video being played on the other side. So the experience is very seamless. That is because of the HEDC protocol, which is specially created with this in mind, and to deliver a very seamless experience for the users. So whether it is let's say a 4K video, whether it is a 3D application which are being run and which are being used, the experience is going to be like this. Yeah. Now this is for a complete virtual desktop experience. Let's take a look at how only virtual apps would look like. So when you go to the URL, when you log in, when you do the authentication, you will see only the applications. When you open it, this is how it is going to look like. Right? So you are going to see only the application window. And that is the session which is coming basically from the backend servers, from the VDI servers. Now, and still you can put all the security policies in place. The experience is going to be similar, like how you would want to, or you would expect in a complete virtual desktop experience. All right. Now, and when we look at, let's say, if a user is complaining that no, his VM has crashed for any reason or not responding, the IT can immediately go to the VDC management and he can see what has happened with the machine. And let's say in extreme case, he can just quickly restore that machine from the image. That within 5 to 10 seconds that machine is up and the user is going to get the same user profile. This is how the experience for the users can be. They don't have to wait for hours if any issue occurs. If the issue occurs, you can either do a quick restore or you can do the troubleshooting through our intelligence operation management, where you can quickly understand where the issue is going to be or where the issue is, and you can do a quick troubleshooting as well. I will speak about that in the coming slides. Now, other than users using a laptop or any other device, for a stationed users, when I say stationed user, means a user who is going to work on a desktop, let's say, or on a desk only. We have our own thin clients as well. We have different models of thin clients where it's a very lightweight thin client with minimum resources like maybe 1 G or 2 GB RAM, less than 200 GB of hard disk with 1G connectivity, with HDMI, with VGA ports that will be connected to the monitors, and that will only help in as soon as that thin client is turned on, it will show you the authentication page, and once you authenticate, it will pull the user's desktop session and show him in the screen. So the purpose of that is to remove any laptops or let's say any heavy clients as such, and come with a very simple and very lightweight devices like thin clients, what I'm speaking about, which is more easy to manage. Let's say even if the thin client has some issue, quickly the IT can come and do a replacement of it. They don't have to do any repair as such that you would do in a normal PC, right? So they will just come and replace it, and the access can be provided immediately. Even in some cases, if it is replaced, the user is going to get his same session. The session that he was having can be resumed as well. And also, we have a built-in remote support feature where you don't have to physically come and give support to the user. You can just quickly take a remote access to the session and support him for any issue that he might be complaining of. So what are the other benefits that customers can get or users can get by adopting Sangfor VDI? First of all, we need to understand, where does Sangfor ADESK sit? Where is it going to be built? So Sangfor ADESK is basically going to be built on top of Sangfor's HCI or Sangfor's hypervisor, where as you can see in the screen, these are the physical servers where, let's say, if I speak of HCI, which is of course the recommended platform for VDI. Why? Because an HCI and a VDI combination, VDI is, can requires actually a very high performance environment, or the underlying hardware should support that requirement as well. So HCI has certain features like data locality, which plays a major role in providing the VDI machines with higher performance. So HCI has all of these features, better performance, which includes data locality, all flash environment. We have certain features where it does the intelligent operations, or intelligent reads and writes, which ensures that the writes and reads happen in a way and with better IOPS, where VDI users can get faster performance as well. So it sits on top of our HCI or on top of our hypervisor. If you can see in this image, you have the physical servers where the local storage that we have is the HCI storage pool. On top of that is our hypervisor. And then on the hypervisor sits the servers, the virtual desktops, and our VDC appliance as well, right? So when you have the virtual machines running on top of Sangfor HCI, you get the major capability, which is the data locality. We have full-fledged data locality where every time a VDI machine tries to do a write or read, it happens locally to that host or locally to that machine, right? Where it ensures that a better performance is delivered. So having VDI with HCI is the right combination that we can give to the users and to our customers. All right. Now, other than that, when I speak of the user's profile, a user's profile is a major component, and it is prone basically to corruption. It is not basically a VDI problem. Actually, what happens is it's a Windows-based profile, so it can get corrupted, right? Whether it is Sangfor VDI or whether it is any other platform. So sometimes it gets corrupted and a user might complain that, no, I had certain settings saved, I'm not getting the settings. So when you go and look at the profiles, you will understand that, no, this profile now is corrupted. What you would normally do, you will tell the user to do a re-login. You will try to troubleshoot and you will ask him to do a re-login and he will get a new profile, right? So, and the user might complain that I'm getting a new profile. Why, my old settings are not there. So to come out of that, what Sangfor does is it utilizes our native backup capability where it can back up the entire VDI environment, the images, the management appliance, the servers, and the users' profiles as well, whether it is sitting on a file server or whether it is sitting on a floating disk. Now, that disk can be backed up by our native backup, and our native backup is free of cost. It is not licensed. It is part of the platform. So what happens here is if any user complains that no, his profile is not logging in or is giving issues, you can quickly go to our native backup dashboard and you can do a quick restore of that profile where the user is going to get his profile back. And for IT, it is more simple to manage and to do a restore of the profile as well. They don't have to go through the complex troubleshooting. So people who have worked on VDI environment before, you would understand that when a user complains of a VDI profile issue, what you will see in a file server or wherever the profiles are managed, you will see the original file and you will see that same file with an additional word saying as temp, right? The temp profile is the issue that is created and the user is not able to get the right profile. So what you would normally do is you will rename the original profile and you will ask the user to log in again. But the user at the end will get a new profile. To come out of that and to maintain the same profile, Sangfor is doing a native backup for that profile where you can do a quick restore as well. And the entire profile is managed via uh, Sangfor appliance, yeah, which is our VDC for the VDI environment. Now, this native backup that we have is giving you 1 hour RPO for the VDI machines. What you would normally back up is not the entire VDI machines. You will back up only the image, you will back up the appliance, and you will back up the servers, other servers, right? So it will give you 1 hour RPO. We also have our advanced backup, which we call it as continuous data protection, which will give you up to 0 RPO. And that is licensed per VM wise. So if you have a requirement of having, or if you want to meet the compliance of having 0 RPO backups, you can go with our advanced backup as well, where you will get 0 RPO, where it is a real-time backup that can be taken, right? So with Sangfor's HCI, you can also enable VDI with primary and DR side. So if you have a requirement, let's say where customer says, or let's say if the use case is as such where you need to maintain the users on a primary site and you want to build a DR site as well. So that can be achieved by Sangfor's HCI, right? Where we have our native DR orchestrator, which will help automate the failover and failback. So if you have a desk running on primary site, if any issue occurs for any reason, you can automate the failover to the DR site as well. And for those For those customers who want to meet this compliance, VDI on top of HCI will help with that compliance as well, right? Now, we also have stretched cluster where, let's say if you have multiple sites, or let's say if you have, for example, two sites and you want to make both the sites as active and you have 100 users as an example, or if I give you a use case, you have 100 users and you have 50 users on site 1 and 50 users on site 2, and you want both the sites to act as active, you will have 50 users accessing from site 1. All the resources can be accessed from site 1 only. Site 2 users will access the resources from site 1 or site 2, depending on the availability. Now, the major use cases for a stretched cluster is you want both the sites to be as active, or you want both the sites to act as a DR to each other. So if one of these sites fails, all the resources will be failed over to the other site, provided that you have the latency between these sites less than 5 milliseconds, right? So we have certain customers who have achieved this scenario where they have both the sites as active and they have the users and the servers distributed across both the sites, right? Now, when we look at the security has been, has become a critical concern for every organization, with cyber attacks growing more frequent and more sophisticated. Businesses need a reliable way to protect their IT environments without the constant fear of data breaches, ransomware, or insider threats. This is why Sangfor VDI is built with security in mind. Now, so unlike traditional desktops, where IT team must separately manage firewalls, patch updates, and access controls, Sangfor VDI simplifies security through deep integration with our HCI platform. Features like distributed firewall and microsegmentation secure VM to VM traffic and ensure only authorized users gain access. But protection doesn't stop at the network level only. Sangfor's ASEC component is basically an additional component which can be added as an add-on to secure every VM that is built on top of Sangfor's HCI, whether it is your servers or whether it is your VDI VMs. So Sangfor's ASIC component adds multiple layers of defense, including data leakage prevention, built-in antivirus, vulnerability management, and advanced ransomware protection as well. And it also helps in recovering from ransomware as well. Now, this creates a secure, monitored, and resilient VDI environment, giving organizations confidence that both their users and their data are secure. Now, other than the security, now for security, we have certain features and certain components in place. For IT to troubleshoot, if a user complains, I have an issue, my application is not opening or I'm not getting the session. All that you as an IT will have to do is go to our operations and management dashboard. You click on that user or that session or that machine. We have our native AI engine, which will help you drill down where the issue is. So if you notice on the right side screenshot, it will help you identify which HCI cluster is causing that, within that cluster, which node is that, within that node, which VM is causing it, which application is causing it, and which process might be causing that issue. And when you click on that, it will give you the closest resolution on the right side. Once applied, it will help you reduce the issue resolution time from hours to minutes. Yeah. So you have two ways. You can either come here and do the troubleshooting and quickly resolve the issue, or you can do a quick restore of that VM or of that profile if required through our native backup, or you can also do a quick restore from the image as well. You will have only one image. Out of that image, hundreds of other machines can be created. right? So either you can do a restore or you can come here and do the troubleshooting of that. Now, the other thing is we are actually helping the users or the organizations enable the users work from anywhere, work from any device at any given point of time and access any backend resources at any time, right? This will simplify and this will make the users more comfortable in working and in delivering the right performance. Now, in either of the cases, what is the benefit? What is the benefit that users are getting once they also enable themselves to work from anywhere? IT does not have to worry about the bandwidth because our HEDC protocol is created in such a way it helps utilize the minimum bandwidth. For a 2D environment, it is required to have less than 100 kbps of bandwidth that is going to be consumed, right? For 3D environment, it is less than 2 Mbps, whether it is for 4K or whether it is for 144 frames per second uh, application that you're using or or you're playing any 4K videos. This is what is going to be consumed. On the left side is what you are seeing, right? So this will ensure that whether it is a construction site, whether it is a remote site, even if you have a, let's say, an internet with that dongle with the SIM card, with the minimum bandwidth, you can have the right experience for the users as well. And wh- whether it is for any use case, you are going to have or you can maintain that same user experience by minimum internet bandwidth as well, right? Now, uh, looking at how can we reutilize the existing infrastructure. There might be some organizations who say that I have certain hardware which I want to reutilize. I do not want to go into new hardware consumption. The best part is that Sangfor's platform is hardware agnostic. Our platform can sit on any of the hardwares as long as it is x86 hardware. Though we have our own hardware, though we have our own servers, but we also support Dell, HP, Lenovo, Cisco, Supermicro, any of these kind of servers as long as it is x86 servers. Now, if customers say that I have an existing hardware, can we reutilize it? Yes, we can reutilize it as well, whether it is for three-tier architecture or they want to build a complete HCI on top of this hardware, we can do that. And even if they have any existing thin clients, we can reutilize their thin clients as well. Though we support certain models from Dell, from Centum, and from HP, now we are also going to support more models from Dell and from HP. So if you have customers who are already using these thin clients, we can support them as well. We do support these thin clients as well. Though we have our own thin clients, but if the customers they do not want to invest again in thin clients, we can reutilize their existing thin clients as well, right? Now, moving forward, how does the licensing look like for Sangfor VDI? So the licensing, we have three types of licensing: silver, gold, and platinum. Now, if you have a 2D environment only, silver licenses should be more than enough. We have all the major features that you would require for a 2D environment. We have it here in silver. But if there are 3D users, in 3D users, there are two types of users. One is you can call it as a medium user and an heavy user. If you have a medium user where the graphics requirement is not so much, you can go with the golden or the gold licensing as well. But if you have a heavy 3D user, then we have the platinum user licensing. Or if you want to give access to any physical workstations, then we have to go with the platinum user licenses. But what I would recommend is if it is 2D, go with silver. If it is a 3D user, go with the platinum user licenses only. Don't go with the gold user. Why? Because at some point of time, the user would want to increase their graphical power. So then they have to again upgrade from gold to platinum. So first only if they go with the platinum licenses, They don't have to worry about the future. They already have the licenses in place. And of course, you can mix and match both the licenses as well if required. If you have, let's say, 100 2D and 50 3D, you can go with 100 silver licenses and 50 3D licenses as well. Now, let's take a look at few of the use cases that we have and that we support. So for we support all the use cases out there, whether it is for education, construction, banking and finance, government, healthcare. All of these use cases are supported as well. But I would like to add few things to understand how do we achieve these use cases, just to understand on few of the use cases or the verticals that I've mentioned here. For example, for the general workload requirements, many companies nowadays have offices with remote workers and call centers. Sangfor VDI helps them by keeping office work secure, so employees can access their desktops safely from anywhere, making remote work easy so staff can log in from home or on the go, helping call centers run smoothly with fast and stable virtual desktops, and R&D team by providing powerful virtual desktops for their work. In education, we have a lot of customers actually who are using or who are considering a VDI approach. So education, I would like to emphasize more on the education part here as well, where we can simplify the way students are wanting to learn nowadays. There is, when it comes to classroom solutions or exam solutions, this can be simplified more now. Students can learn from anywhere, whether from home, whether from the campus, and teachers can manage more efficiently. uh, there is no need to do a refresh of the sessions or of the classrooms when the periods change, right? So here, what you can do, the users can just come in and log in. They are going to get their resources only. There is no need to do refreshes all the time, right? So not only for, let's say, for schools, but also for universities, they need computer labs and digital resources for students and teachers. With Sangfor VDI, computer labs can be managed easily with students accessing desktops without needing expensive hardware. E-libraries become more accessible, allowing students to study from anywhere. Now, in construction, the construction industry relies on 3D design, software, and big files. Sangfor VDI is perfect because it supports high-performance 3D applications like AutoCAD and Revit and all the applications I spoke about earlier. Engineers and architects can work from anywhere without needing powerful personal computers. In banking and finance, banks and financial institutions need high security for their customer data. Sangfor VDI ensures safe and controlled office environments so employees can work securely. Centralized IT management, making it easy to control access to financial data. Fast service hall operations, allowing employees to serve customers without delays. Now, for the government customers, government offices need secure, reliable IT systems. Sangfor VDI helps by allowing safe remote work so employees can access systems from anywhere, improving service hall efficiency, making service operations smoother, simplifying IT management by giving full control over users and applications. And then the healthcare. Hospitals and clinics require quick and secure access to patient data. Sangfor VDI gives doctors and nurses fast access to medical records from any device, keeps patient data safe from leaks or cyber attacks, helps helps hospitals meet security regulations with built-in protection as well. So basically, no matter the industry, Sangfor VDI makes IT simple, secure, and efficient. It helps businesses lower IT cost, improve security, make remote work easier, give employees a smooth and faster user experience, right? So overall, Sangfor VDI has a simple architecture with, of course, lesser cost. Our solution is more cost effective. The entire architecture, as you have already seen, the architecture is very, very simple and very easy to maintain and manage. We can help with better user experience with our HEDC protocol. Every traffic that flows is segregated within a single tunnel based on the type of traffic, whether it is, let's say, Outlook traffic, whether it is a 3D application traffic or normal data traffic. Every traffic is segregated, right? Now, we support thousands of peripherals out there where we can extremely, and meet the use case, especially when it comes to call centers, the government offices, uh, healthcare, where they use different external devices like scanning, ID scanner, fingerprint scanner. All of these devices are supported as well, right? And then we can provide better local support and faster response time. Why? Because we have our local support team, especially for this region. We have the support team sitting locally here in the UAE, right? Where especially for UAE customers, we can respond much faster. And we have a toll-free number. We have our email, technical support email ID as well, where if a ticket is raised or if it is contacted, they respond very quickly. And if required, the engineers can come on site as well for the support, right? So overall, Sangfor ADESC, which is Sangfor's VDI, is the platform to go for when you consider of a VDI environment. So customers who want to move away from physical machines to VDI, Sangfor ADES can be the right approach. You can reach out to our team anytime. If you have any questions, if you have any additional information that you would like to require, you can reach out to us anytime, right? We are based here in UAE, and we are basically spread across the globe. Here in the Middle East, we are there in multiple countries. We are there in UAE, Oman. Saudi Arabia has a different team altogether in Egypt. So we are scattered everywhere. We are everywhere where you can reach out to us in different countries as well. And if there is any additional questions or any additional requirement that you have, you can please do reach out to us. So that is it from my side as of now. And if you have any questions, please raise it in the Q&A box, and I would be more than happy to answer that. So yes, you can, sorry. So yes, you can actually build Sangforce VDI only on our hypervisor as well. You can go with any other hardware. You can build hypervisor, and then on top of that, you can build our Sangfor VDI. But recommended is the HCI. Why? Because HCI and VDI is the right combination for better performance, because VDI environments can get complex at some time if it is not configured or best practices are not followed. So to have HCI and VDI as a combination of platform, it will help maintain a lot of compliance and user requirements as well. So I would recommend, if you're positioning VDI, go with the HCI and Sangfor VDI. In extreme case, we can see on the use case if we can only build it on top of Sangfor hypervisor only or not. Yeah, we can help you with that design. And if there is any use case like this, do let us know. Yeah, so the licensing is correct. The licensing is based on concurrent users. Licensing is based on concurrent users, whether it is our silver, gold, or platinum. All the licenses are based on the concurrent. It doesn't matter how many users you have. What matters is at a given point of time, how many users are going to access. Okay, so third-party devices or thin clients. So yes, as I was mentioning earlier, we support third-party thin clients as well from HP, Dell, and Centum. There are certain models that we support. So if customers have the models which fall under our supported models, we do support that as well. Other than thin clients, of course, as we enable the users to work from anywhere, from any device, you can just take your personal device as well. It doesn't matter how expensive or how high end device that is. Even if it is a very light laptop with minimum resources, it doesn't matter. Even if it is a very old laptop, you can use it to use your VDI environment or access the VDI resources. It doesn't matter. You can use it from anywhere. Even if you go to your phone or even if you go to a tablet, you can download the VDI client from Sangfor and you can access your VDI resources. So yes, our architecture is basically very simple. I think I spoke about that as well. Our architecture is simple. We have only one appliance. There is no multiple appliances that you have to manage, right? One appliance, even if you have, let's say, remote users, you will use our, components built into the appliance to give remote access as well. Whether it is internal or an external user, it doesn't matter. The same appliance, which is known as VDC, will come into play, right? And that will do the management of all of these requirement. All right. So if you don't have any more questions, we'll move forward. And I would like to thank you all for joining the session. I hope it was informative and it was helpful. Still, if you have any questions, if you have any requirement, you can reach out to our team anytime. You can note down my email address as well, and you can reach out to my email. And if I can be of any help, I would be more than happy. Right. So there is one last question from a gentleman asking, every VDI must has license or is common one? I did not actually understand that license, but what I suppose you meant to say is, does every VDI need to have a license? Uh, yes, every VDI session, it is not on the device part, it is on the number of users. Okay, so it depends on the number of users. Every user should have a license. So if you have 100 users and 50 users are going to log in at a given point of time, all these 50 users, when they log in, the license will be fetched. And all these 50 users must have a license. It doesn't matter how many users are logged off. If you have 100 users, you can go with 50 user licenses if the 50 user licenses are, or the 50 users are going to log in at the same time. Yeah, if the max user count is 50, then you will go with only concurrent licenses of 50. I hope I answered your question. So that is it for now. Again, thank you everyone for joining. And again, I would like to repeat, if there is any requirement or if any question you have, you can reach out to us anytime, right? And especially when it comes to education and healthcare, we can meet that requirement strongly, and we will work on it together. All right. So yes, before I leave, I think there is one more question which I would like to answer. Can I distribute as a public tenant or public client? I'm sorry, but I didn't understand that question again. Are you talking about multi-tenancy on Sangfor VDI? So if you have any, so we have basically, customers or our partners who have built their cloud on Sangfor HCI. And what they normally do is, if they have multiple customers who want to access VDI, you need to build the VDC separately for each customer if they want to access that and manage by themselves. But if you want to just give them access to a VDI session, you can maintain that through a single VDC as well. But if customers require to access and manage the VDI environment on their own, like cloud, then every tenant should have a separate VDC access, right? Yes, we do meet all of these use cases, whether for hospital, for if you want to work via cafe, uh, we do meet that requirements. All right. I think that is it, and we are running out of time right now. So thank you again, everyone. And we'll surely keep in touch. Do let us know if you have any questions. You can reach out to us anytime. Thank you and take care of yourself. Have a great day ahead.